Hello everyone, today I want to talk about the toolpost on my lathe. It's the ever popular PeWe Tools Multifix style toolpost in size E. This one I bought in 2022, but it wasn't my first one. I also have a smaller one which is installed on a small lathe that's currently out of commission. Like many people, I first heard of them through A-Bomb79. Before that, I had a cheap Chinese no-name Multifix clone on a lathe that's since been sold, which worked, but I had one major problem with it. The throw of the lever was way too loose. You can turn the lever in both directions to tighten the toolpost. People have some thoughts about which direction is the best. I haven't formulated an opinion on that yet, based on calculations, but I'm usually pushing the lever forward. So on these no-name Multifix clones, the lever has way more free throw than on the high-quality made ones, be it original Multifix, PeWe or AXA. If we look at the throw on this PeWe Tools one, I consider that pretty good. If you have more throw on the lever, the eccentric pin in there has less meat to wear out over time. On my Chinese one, I could actually spin the lever a full 360 degrees around on some of the Toolholder blocks if I pulled on it hard enough. In my opinion, that's completely unacceptable. Here on the PeWe, once you reach a certain point, it's pretty well locked solid. So when I bought this lathe, I got the PeWe Tools Multifix toolpost for it, and there I was, happy with my new setup. Until one day recently, I decided to remake my solid toolpost mounting block. I did that because I wasn't happy with the position I put the tool holder on relative to the edges of the block. I made a new block, all very nice, and mounted the PeWe toolpost. I took a holder, indicated it straight, clamped it down and reamed the index holes through to pin the toolpost in place rotationally with all 3 pins at the same time. Then I went to use my parting tool and noticed that it was out of square a little. So I indicated the tool and sure enough it wasn't mounted straight. So I come to discover that each of these holders has a different alignment error. Now I was told that PeWe was high quality despite being Chinese import, so I'm going to take you with me and we're going to see how good these really are. First of all, let's prove out that the block it's mounted on is straight, so there's no funny stuff happening there. I'm sweeping the top surface with an indicator and there's no significant deviation. The toolpost block is pretty parallel with the ways of the machine. As a baseline, I have to choose one of my tool holders to indicate the toolpost rotationally. I'm going to use the 30mm AXA boring bar holder with a 30mm alignment bar clamped in it. The bar sits nice and parallel in height over the cross slide, and I'll indicate the rotation of the toolpost with this bar as a reference to compare the other tool holders to. I will measure and swap out my 3 tool holders back to back without any video cuts to compare them to the reference I just indicated. That's about a 1/4 millimeter to the right. And that's about a 1/4 millimeter to the left. Uh-oh. That is a lot. And equally a lot. In summary, the first tool holder labeled 25 has about 0.05 millimeters total deviation, then 0.06 millimeters for tool level. The second tool holder labeled 16, about 0.23 millimeters error towards the chuck, and a whopping 0.5 millimeter deviation in tool level. The third tool holder, labeled 20, about 0.23 millimeters error away from the chuck, and the same 0.5 millimeters deviation in tool level. Let's talk about these errors. When you're using single point tools, these alignment errors are not really a problem most of the time. But when you're drilling, reaming or tapping with the tool post, it can be a problem. When I use parting blades, I expect my blade to be aligned better than what these PeWe blocks come out to. Like this, I can't have both the boring bar holder and the tool blocks indicated correctly at the same time. These errors are in my experience large enough to start causing problems in parting or drilling, reaming and tapping. In this situation, I have to indicate critical tools every time or risk problems in my cutting operations. Pinning the tool post to the block is also useless when I have to take out the pins regularly. However, the most egregious error in the PeWe blocks is the half-millimeter variation in the center height over the length of the tool holder. I flip tools end for end pretty often to work on the face of a part, and when I do so, my center height is off by more than half a millimeter. I can clearly recall some instances that I've had problems with that specifically, and damaging tools because of it. If you remember, the AXA block doesn't have that problem. That means it's very likely a problem isolated with the PeWe blocks. Also, when I measure the tool slot compared to the outside surfaces of the block, it's pretty straight and square, so that tells me the spline is not positioned correctly in squareness and rotation to the rest of the block. For all the increased quality PeWe has over the no-name Chinese Multifix clones, they do not seem to have control over the tool slot alignment to the spline based on the sample size I have here. People who already have the PeWe tool stuff, you might want to measure your blocks. I'd appreciate it if you would share your findings in the comments below this video. The AXA block is made in Germany and has much better alignment. I'm going to be buying AXA blocks in the future. The AXA blocks are about 30% more expensive than the PeWe blocks, but the combination of better precision and locally made is worth that for me. If you're considering buying a Multifix style tool post, you might want to go back to the measurement section of the video, have a good look and factor that into your buying decision, along with other people's reports in the comments. I am still going to use these tool blocks, but I will skim the slot so that they are in good alignment relative to the indicated position of the boring bar holder and have consistent center height. Also, I'm going to modify the tool post block so I can take the blocks out of the tool post quicker with a better grip. And lastly, I'm going to rotate the post in a different position and pin it in place with 3 pins when indicated straight with the lathe bed. After machining, the holders are all within a couple hundredths of a millimeter straight, which I am satisfied with. I must say that the material is tough, but machines very nicely. I used a fresh 12mm carbide end mill, and I got a way better finish than I was expecting, especially on the side milling. After reaming new pinholes and mounting the tool post, it returned to its indicated position immediately, which I am very happy with. My work on a tool post is done for now. To close out, I wanted to mention a couple of things just to be complete. I did not contact PeWe Tools prior to making this video. I don't expect or want anything from their customer service after pointing out the perceived shortcomings. I paid for everything with my own hard-earned money and was not satisfied with some elements of the blocks, so I modified them to suit my needs. I haven't seen anyone else mention deviations on tool holders like this, so either it's just mine or no one is measuring them. Me personally, I like to know as much as possible about the product before I buy it, and this way I hope to inform people interested in multifix style tool holders what they may expect when buying PeWe or AXA.